Time now for your forewarned weather with Cedric Haynes.
Okay, welcome back. Let's get another check at that forecast this afternoon with meteorologist Cedric Haynes. You teased this morning, and maybe we might be starting to see a little bit of it now this afternoon. Some more changes on the way, including storms, snow, you name it.
Yeah, you name it. A little bit of storm activity in the valleys, a little bit more snow in the mountains.
So proud because he remembered now, Cedric.
Yes,
this morning he had to ask you, what were you saying now? But now
what
he's got
time can we see those changes? Yeah, remember, he's ready for it now. Yeah, I think it starts now, but really after 2 o'clock and beyond, that's when we usually get that convective stuff starting, and that's what we're going to be seeing. But hey, let's talk about some of these snow totals we've already picked up here. Now, this was as of earlier this morning. Check it out. Now, remember, this is not the powdery, fluffy snow that you love to see on top. This is that heavy, wet snow, dense snow, but it does contain a lot of water content, so that's good for our SWE, our snow water equivalent here as we go into the coming days. But a foot of snow up towards Brighton. We've had about a foot. Deer Valley, Solitude picking up about 11 inches. Again, these are about 2-day preliminary totals. Alta picking up about 11 inches of snow. Park City up on the mountain, about 7 inches of snow. We've had about 7 fresh inches up towards Powder Mountain. Snow Basin about 4 inches. 4 inches at Sundance. 3 inches in Beaver Mountain and 3 inches at Brine Head as well. So the snow continuing to add up out there, but for the mountains, and again, you got to get up to about 7,000, 7,500 feet for that. Otherwise, in the valleys, look at these warm temperatures with that southwesterly flow, a lot of 40s and 50s showing up out there across the state here, and that will be the case as we progress throughout the rest of the day. So we got one wave of moisture pushing off towards the north and east now. We're waiting for our next wave, which is now beginning to move into a warmer and a little bit more unstable air with those peaks of sunshine. So we're starting to see some activity beginning to pop up, and we'll see more of that here in the coming hours. And yes, because the air is somewhat unstable, there will be that chance of some more rumbles of thunder and a couple of flashes of lightning. We saw some of that yesterday afternoon. We'll see a little chance of that again as we go throughout the day. Again, no severe weather expected, but don't be surprised if you happen to see a flash of lightning off in the distance if you're driving, or maybe even hear a rumble of thunder, but it won't amount to much out there. But you can see we're quiet for now, but in the next couple of hours to about 2 o'clock, we'll start to see some activity popping up, especially for areas closer towards I-70, and then that will spread north and east through the rest of the afternoon and evening hours. Again, in the mountains, that'll be in the form of some pockets of moderate to heavy snow. In the valleys, we're looking at that chance of a couple of rumbles of thunder. And again, notice this is going to be more showery or scattered in nature, very summer-like out there on the weather maps. And then we'll see this activity kind of tapering off throughout the evening once we lose the sun. And we'll just keep a chance of a little bit of activity over east and southeastern Utah as we go into your Friday, especially Friday morning. But I do think even there, the dry air will win out by the afternoon hours. And by the weekend, beautiful weather for your Saturday. Beautiful weather expected on your Sunday as well, as the next storm system will be well off to our west, at least through Sunday. So for the Wasatch Mountains, we could pick up an additional 2 to 4 inches with some of that activity later today. 1 to 3 inches for the Wasatch Plateau. They extended the advisory through about 5 o'clock this afternoon. About 1/10 of an inch of water could be taking place here along the valley floors in the form of some rain. But the mountains, again, as we mentioned, a couple of inches of snow possible this afternoon. So this storm system basically ushered in the change across the area, and that is pushing out of here. Now we get a brief break, pleasant weather with a high pressure ridge for the weekend, and then things start to get very active off to our west here. It'll start off the west coast, but eventually that entire trough rotates inland, and it starts to bring in colder conditions, and with waves of moisture, we could see more wintry weather potential even down to the valley floor. So that trend continues to be there. We continue to keep a close eye on that. You can see, looking at the snowfall potential as we go into next week, this map looks much more active and different than what we've seen most of the season, where we've got the potential of some widespread accumulations adding up. But notice the mountains in Utah could see some significant snow totals with, yes, even some valley snow totals be possible as well. So we'll keep a close eye on it as we get closer to the middle of next week. A mixture of sun and clouds across the Wasatch Front with highs in the 50s for today. We'll be in the 60s in St. George or for the weekend here. So any of your Valentine's Day plans looks to be on the mild side. We stay mild through the weekend before more active weather and cooler weather arrives heading into next week. Meanwhile, the Wasatch Front will see isolated rumbles of thunder with some showers on your Thursday afternoon. But again, drying out heading into the holiday weekend before, yes, more active weather arrives next week. Listen.